Good evening, this is Kuro. Got a tier 10 game in my gearing on Haven. Looking at the matchmaking, have a tier 8 CV, have a Minotaur, a Moskva, Neptune, and Cleveland. The destroyers gearing, Kaba, and a Kid round out the threats to me. This is a standard battle, not the usual domination. And this game's gonna have a lot of spotting. That's the reason why I'm including this. It just illustrates just how critical it is to your team. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna push up down basically the 3 line. I've got a friendly Minotaur, and somewhere in here is usually a good spot to smoke him up. So, letting him know in chat what kind of my intentions are, and we're gonna give it a go. Getting this guy smoked up in here basically makes a big AA bubble right in this entire area that their CV is gonna have a hard time operating in, and because he's smoked up, if he's never spotted, that CV is going to lose some planes right away to Minotaur AA, especially if this guy's smart and leaves his AA off, lets the planes come in, and then just starts focusing them down real quick. Now, watching the minimap, I'm kind of looking at my CV right now. Right now I'm trying to judge how competent is my CV, and I'm worried right now. This guy just basically clicked on those bombers, and the enemy CV is just kiting, and look at all the, goes right into the hornet's nest with both of his fighters. I can't rely on my CV for anything, so need to really be trying to protect, friendly AA ships, especially the squishy ones like my Minotaur. So, smoking them up, dragging it long, this is something that, my whole team might be able to use to some extent. And just coming out here and seeing what's going on. I see the Moskva pop up. I'm expecting to get radared, but there's not a lot that can really shoot me. You got the Kaba here. Team starts shooting the Moskva. Moskva starts turning out. He's gonna pop radar. He probably spots my torpedoes, pops radar to see what's around, and Kaba gets one shot off, but I'm already outside this guy's radar range, that basically was complete wasted radar. Get two torpedoes on the Moskva. Trying to get my team to focus him again, and you see what my Minotaur does to the enemy strike package. It just murdered, the entire strike. So with my team kind of in a strong position right here, what I want to do, I want to push and I want to try to get some spots back in here. If you look on the mini-map, all of these guys just aren't spotted. My CV is getting his butt kicked. Their CV, he's got planes there, he's got planes there, he's spotting everything up in here. It's only really my smoke screen with the AA concentration up here that's enabled this area to remain unspotted. And that's why, this area of my team's doing good. I have given my team vision control, because I have denied sight with my smoke screen, and then coming down here and providing vision. You know, only right now that my smoke's has worn off, only now is this enemy team now able to start shooting at these guys. And what can likely happen is if that Minotaur was playing for the team, he would push up and get another good spot to shoot from, and then he would just lay a line of smoke. And that line of smoke does the same thing. Ideally, our Benson could have done the same thing too, but I think he's playing a little bit more for damage, coming in here, going to do a torp run on the Iowa. Honestly, it is what it is. It's removing a tier 9 battleship from the game. It's nice. Now, looking here with my Minotaur having not moved, and I'm seeing AA, or not AA, I'm seeing armor piercing flying in constantly. That's telling me that the Minotaur's most likely smoked up. So what I'm trying to do, this Iowa's gonna die, and this is a 2-minute smoke that I can get this my team in. This gets them around the corner and able to start pressuring this stuff. So I'm not gonna hang out. There's really nothing in here for me. Oh, this is, yeah, I'm having a what the hell moment because this kid somehow beats a gearing in a gunfight. I don't understand. But these things happen. So get some vision restored to my team because some things had dropped off because my CV just wasn't doing what he needed to do. He's losing too many planes. At this rate, he's gonna get deplaned quickly. Drop some torps off here, kind of aiming at the Yamato, but the Kurfürst is back there, and there's other things that might hit him. Watching the Kaaba, and you know, just keeping vision going. You know, watch the spotting counter. You just see it start ticking. I'm calling target on the Moskva. That's the only thing really slowing down my push into the enemy, is I've got to respect the radar. If I get radared, you know, I'm gonna be in a rough situation this close to the Kaaba, and the Kaaba runs right into my torps. You know, hey, Moskva goes on ahead and radars me. I wasn't paying super close attention because of how far he was away, but he gets one good shot in on me, and I'm gonna go on ahead and just start kiting away. And at this range, they can't do much to me. I'm already out. All that kind of radar does is it just buffs my reload on my torps and guns and stuff, and it just makes me that much better. Currently up over 80k spotting damage. Now that I know the radar is down, I can push in more aggressive and work within the Moskva's radar range. Obviously, you don't want to go too close unless you know that Moskva is just about dead. Got this Minotaur, he's smoked up, and I'm just going to come back and I'm gonna try to refresh the smoke. I know that there's gonna be a radar soon. I'm hoping that we can get this Moskva killed in time. At this point, you know, if I smoke up and this guy gives me broadside, I'm probably gonna be even start shooting at the guy to try to get him out of the way. The teams it's pretty even match at this point, so whatever I can do to shift the balance of power, because I think we're going to lose this Minotaur here shortly. Going ahead and popping my smoke. And just going to drop that set of torps. Maybe it hits the Moskva as he rushes. Maybe it doesn't. There's the radar. And rather than just try to run, this Moskva is trying desperately to kill my Minotaur. So, you know, I'm not being shot at. I should be shooting to help my teammate here. That's just good play. And the team gets the Moskva finally, but he gets a shot off. Well, the Neptune gets a shot off and finishes off my Minotaur. Still kind of a close game. So, still not in the YOLO mode. And I'm pointing right now. A lot of times you can figure out what's what just by watching and seeing what type of shells are flying around. That rate of fire with nothing but AP, that's telling me that it's a Neptune. He smokes up immediately when I spot him. My torps are staggered right now, and that Minotaur obviously has hydro up and running. He sees the torps, he's just bailing on his smoke. So we basically forced that guy to waste a smoke, and he's eating a ton of damage right now. And, you know, he's down. Minotaur versus a Henry's just nasty. Henry's AP overmatches everything and just tears them apart like a tin can. Kurfürst is up, and I'm just pushing into this guy. I mean, the enemy CV is actually doing a fairly decent job. There's no real plane threats left. So he's just taking his two fighters and he's just using them as a picket right here. And that's actually gonna make it hard for me to actually cross this line. I mean, this close to a tier 10 battleship, I get plane spotted, he's gonna hammer me. So I gotta respect the planes. Just playing the spotting game. The planes probably spotted my torpedoes. Maybe the Kurfürst has hydro going. Regardless, he's turning away and running when, you know, I would kind of argue that pushing in, particularly if you have hydro, you could do a lot more. But at this point, the planes were just hovering. Figured, let's give it a go. See if the CV's AFK, you know, whatever. But as soon as I activate my AA, the CV immediately pulls his planes back, and that's telling me he's still in the game. So, gonna keep pushing. And, you know, at this point, it's just all about the spotting. I mean, everything's running from me. That means my torpedoes aren't really going to be that effective. But, you know, the best thing I can do for my team is just keep spotting stuff. I pick up the Neptune, and he's just running for the border. I'm going to go on ahead and speed this up because it actually takes my team a while to kill the guy. So we're still chasing. He's still running for the border, and I'm actually on the cap now, and the enemy CV's dead. Gonna skip ahead a little bit. Neptune's still alive, team's still, you know, splashing all around him basically. I had launched some preemptive torpedoes. I figured he'd hit the border and just kind of ride it until he died. These are just a, who knows, Make-A-Wish torpedoes. But he's starting to get low enough, and I'm finally in gun range, and my team finally is able to finish him off. But basically, with me pursuing down there, once I got within his concealment, there was nothing he could do. I'm faster than he is. He doesn't have radar to drive me off, and you know, it is what it is. Damage-wise, the game's nothing too special. Mostly battleship damage, which is why it's a middle of the pack finish. There's no caps or anything like that for me to really take advantage of. You know, damage wise, you know, did kill the Kaaba from probably like 40% HP. Couple torpedoes on Moskva, just that kind of thing. You can really see where my vision that I provided my team helped. My CV wasn't our eyes and ears this match. It actually turned out that my destroyer was my eyes for my team, or was the eyes for my team. 176,000 spotting damage. It makes for kind of a sometimes boring a boring game to watch, but that tells you that you're in the right position. You know, every time guys turned into me, uh, they had torps coming in on them. Torps constantly harassing them, and just undermining their position, just making them uncomfortable being back in there behind those islands. And, you know, the whole time just trying to keep as many enemies spotted so my team could actually shoot them from positions of concealment behind the islands. And I think I mean, looking at it, this was a fairly close game up until the last couple, probably last 2 minutes or so. Well, with the exception of the chase. With the chase, probably about last 4 minutes were, it was neck and neck most of the game, and that was with their CV just all over. Lots of plane spotting, that kind of thing. I mean, you can looking at the plane kill totals, you can kind of see that, you know, the Missouri, he kind of was in the thick of it with enemy planes. Um, you know, it's just nice. Had a, you know, the TM division, they did pretty well. Um, all in all, a good game. Definitely a really good game for spotting and just showing how, even though it was a CV battle, and the CV typically is the primary scouter, a DD still can be absolutely critical, positioning yourself um, and providing that, not only the nonstop viewing, but also dropping the critical smokes, protecting your cruisers, letting them save their HP, and really just frustrate the enemy because their planes they can't do anything. They can't see through the smoke. They need to come into inside radar range, and that has its own set of risks when you've got a destroyer running around. Um, you don't really know if there's a battleship sitting in that smoke or not. And you try to radar it, and next thing you know, something's nasty in there, and you know, bad things happen. So, all in all, um, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the game briefly. People are freaking out about the radar, the radar this, the radar that. Really, I see, you know, the old tactics becoming new again. Um, the smoke meta. You know, what are you talking about, Kuro? You know, radar counters smoke. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Um, you use the smoke intelligently. You've got all your smoke detection ratings on your cruisers. Um, you just drop the smoke further back. You smoke a Hindenburg back 12 kilometers, which is roughly his concealment range on shooting in smoke. He's outside of all the radar. You know, he's got, he can farm for days in a gearing smoke. And it's those kinds of moves that absolutely just crush enemies because you're able to be getting full DPM on enemy ships with your smoked up ships, and unless the enemy is really skilled at shooting into smoke or gets really lucky, they're not getting anything in return, and it just tips everything right into your team's favor. So destroyer players, you know, don't just think about it from, the I need to provide spotting for my team, but also you have that consumable where you can just say, no, you can't see this. I'm not going to let you see what my team's doing right here. And that's that. And it's an extremely powerful tool. And just because it's kind of fallen out of the meta does not mean that it is not relevant today. I use it all the time for competitive, um, dealing with the crossfires and stuff that you see set up on caps. It's really amazing when a smoke destroyer goes in there and drops a smoke and then just starts spotting. If they don't have the radar uh, to push that destroyer out of spotting range, you just blow that crossfire apart. Those enemy ships, they have to run. They can't maintain the damage. They can't maintain the trade, and they just end up getting pushed further and further apart, and they just start giving ground, and they're not able to hold. And that's the power of smoke. You come in and you know you set up your next smoke screen, and next thing you know, you've pushed those ships halfway across the map, and now probably some of them are getting pretty low HP where they're gonna actually need to run. They've got to stop fighting, otherwise they're gonna get sunk. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off right there. Just talking a little bit about vision control, um, the different ways that you can do it. You see it in this game, and it's the fundamental building block of good destroyer play. Gearing's obviously with its smokes, it's one of the best at it. And that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed the game. Hope you guys learned something. If you got any questions, leave a comment below and I'll answer it the best I can. And you guys have a good night.